Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.
Welcome into the show, everybody. What's going on? I'm Wes Moore. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been a busy night, and we're going to get to some of our guests here in just a few minutes. We have a little high school football we're going to talk about tonight. We'll name the More Sports Team of the Week. Got the 7A, 6A, 5A, 2A, and 8-man finals coming up later this week at War Memorial Stadium. Get all started Thursday night. But we'll name our More Sports Team of the Week from last week, and it was just an incredible game that they played. Good comeback. We'll talk with their head coach a little later in the show. We're going to also talk about Ryan Silverfield's first day on the go as a Razorback football coach, and it's been a really good day for Coach Silverfield. 4 commitments already for him, getting 4 different people to flip. Richard Davenport, the recruiting guy for the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette and WholeHogSports.com, joins us now. Richard, it's been coming fast and furious. In fact, I had to change my some of the wording in the show and my graphics for the show because I had Silverfield flips 3. And lo and behold, within the last hour, he got his 4th Arkansas high school kid to flip over. I got to say, it's a pretty good start for Silverfield today.
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, second day on the job, and you get 4 guys that, at least TJ Hodges was committed, still committed until he flipped today. Then the other guys were committed to other schools during their process, and then to get all 4 in one day. I mean, obviously I think this was planned to kind of have it done today, and that's what you do. You're trying to make a splash. He went on some shows today and was talking about the recruiting class and saying it could be one of the best ever. Only time will tell. That's strong talk, but this is a good start.
Richard, let's talk a little bit about the 4 recruits and just what your thoughts on these guys. Let me start with Ja'Cory Smith, a linebacker, was committed at one time to Oklahoma, played at Parkview, transferred to Bryant. I've always been a big fan of his. He looks the part to me.
Yeah, well, he's about 6'1". I don't know what he weighs right now. Anywhere I've heard his weight has fluctuated. He's one of those guys that just I guess maybe he sometimes skips meals or something, or just doesn't eat as much as he should. But I've heard 190, 185, what have you. But anyway, once he gets to college, he'll eat on a regular basis, and obviously he'll get in the weight room. But his speed just is what stands out. Depending on what he adds to his frame, he could play obviously linebacker, or he could potentially play safety. So just when you think of him, the first thing that jumps out is speed. He's one of the fastest guys, in the state, far as on the defensive side of the ball. He is just got outstanding get up and go.
What about Danny Beal? What do you like best about him?
Yeah, well, he's a guy that's very, very mobile, big, 6'4", 6'5", about 330. I'm sure that he'll turn some of that baby fat into muscle once he gets on campus. A really good kid, a country kid who just is just one of those guys that doesn't cater to the limelight or anything like that. He kind of tries to stay low key, but just a really good kid, and his dad's same way. You see where he gets that, because his dad's obviously a guy that really likes the country setting. But hey, when you're talking 6'4", 6'5", 330 pounds on the defensive line, that's the size that you want. And he had a really good offer list during his recruiting process. But as it's well known, he was committed to Oklahoma State, and when Gundy got fired a few weeks later, he reopened, and he visited for the Mississippi State game. And the previous staff was recruiting him pretty good, and then obviously Coach Silverfield was able to close on him. I think once he decommitted from Oklahoma State, he was leaning towards Arkansas and eventually being a Razorback. But you still got to give Coach Silverfield a lot of credit.
Is Bill one of those guys that when he goes to those summer camps and playing against bigger guys, better guys, he shows out a little bit better than when he's playing in high school?
Yeah, his competition level's probably not the greatest, but obviously he dominates at that level, which he should. And then when you're able to go against guys your size and similar talent level, and you do well, that's what you want to see.
How about Anthony Kennedy Jr. from Little Rock Central? He was the fourth one to make his announcement just about an hour ago.
Yeah, no, 6'4", 6'5". He's listed around 334. Another, when you're talking D line guys, these are the type guys that you're looking for. Whether they're in state or out of state, they're even better when they're in state because when he first got his offer from Arkansas a few years ago, I mean that was his dream school. He said he did commit to Miami at one time and then kind of reopened and from what I understand, I mean, I think that he was committed to Missouri, then flipped to Miami, and then decommitted from Miami. But I think that this is where his heart was. So, again, a guy that, with a tremendous size and ability, both of them, I don't know if they'll play immediately. You just never know. I do know both of them. I do know Kennedy's going to enroll in January. Pretty sure Danny is. I think he's told me that, but I've slept since then. But both of them, get through, get an off season, and go through spring practice, and their bodies are going to totally change over the next few years, and especially even next year. You'll see them later. I remember seeing a few guys in this past class, in the 2025 class, and seeing them during the summer when I was attending some Razorback camps. And I was like, whoa, you look different than, what you look like in high school. And it just, even in a short period of time, 6 months, their body can change quite a bit.
All right, we'll finish with TJ Hodges, the running back out of Bryant.
Excellent speed, very explosive. He's run a 10.73 in the 100 meters. And I think that was I think that was last spring. But, be interesting to see, him add some weight, about 175, 180, at least the last time I talked to him. That's been a while. But I know a consensus 4-star prospect. So, sometimes some of these guys, they get, all these guys were listed as 4 stars at one time. Now, Ja'Cory is a consensus 3-star. So, but he's stayed as a consensus 4-star. So, it's just kind of funny sometimes how some guys, the ranking goes down a little bit, and you really don't totally understand why. But sometimes that happens, but not with TJ.
Coach Silverfield also talked about this morning on his morning shows about having the resources to go out and recruit. Is this proof of what has changed at Arkansas and having the resources to go out and get these high school kids?
Well, I mean, when you talk about resources, you're obviously talking about a lot of stuff, but also NIL. But when I think in the release, Hunter talked about it, and I may be off as far as the exact wording, but I think he mentioned a significant investment or increase in resources, something along those lines, for Coach Silverfield. So you would think that means also NIL. And let's face it, I can't fault. I'm not saying that this is totally the situation with all these kids, but it could have been. It could have helped, obviously. But if I'm a kid and I'm able to make some pretty good money, and if your parents are advising you in a good way, I know some kids that have invested their money in 401ks. So and the money's pretty good for some of these guys. So come around age 45, 50 years old, some of these kids, if they do it right, could retire.
We got Richard Davenport with us, Arkansas Democrat Gazette. We hear all kinds of great things on the buzz throughout the day. One conspiracy theory I heard today was maybe Coach Silverfield has had the job a little bit longer and was able to recruit these guys, and that's why he was able to get the jump start. Do you believe that maybe he was talking to these kids ahead of time, or is this just him hitting the ground running?
Yeah, I'm sure he was talking to him because he was a coach at Memphis. Memphis recruits the state of Arkansas. He's recruited the state of Arkansas in the past. So yeah, I'm sure he was talking to him. As a matter of fact, I know he was, but he was a coach at Memphis. I think we all know that he wasn't saying, "Hey, I got the job, I'm coming," or anything like that. I don't think that that's the case. In fact, I've talked to at least two different people as of last week. He didn't mention anything to this person about, "Hey, I got the job." He might have felt comfortable thinking that he had a shot at it, but and I talked to somebody else that had some communication with him, and there was no firm uh, uh, word from him about saying, "Hey, I'm coming. I'm the coach." And that was several weeks ago. So I think it was a case where he was recruiting those kids, and I think I'm not 100%. I'll have to ask, but I was told by one source that several of the Arkansas commitments was visiting Memphis their last home game. So
Hmm.
you already have that relationship, and then when you come to Arkansas, you just kind of reunite, and obviously you're recruiting for Arkansas. So I think that relationship that he's had with these kids previously definitely helped.
Got a question on YouTube, and I was about to go in this direction. So let me ask Ricky's question to you. Rumors swirling that he may flip Kane Archer to Arkansas too. Are you hearing anything from Greenwood?
Well, Coach Silverfield did call Coach Young last night, but evidently he was asleep. And Coach Young tried to call this morning, and shockingly, Silverfield was busy. It's a whirlwind for him right now. So I suspect that he'll be returning that call at some point. We'll see what happens, but uh, yeah, we'll see what happens.
All right, here's another one from Jason. Can you give us the inside scoop on some other prospects that might potentially flip before signing day? You hearing anything else? Or are there other kids from the state of Arkansas or out there that he recruited that could be coming this way?
Well, I mean, you still have Matthew Nelson, who's committed to OU. Not saying that he's going to flip. I'm just saying, just possibilities. You got Braxton Lindsay at Rogers, uh, linebacker. Then obviously Kane Archer, and I just went blank. There's another kid that I'm thinking of, and off the top of my head, Evan Goodwin from Boxout, who's committed to SMU. He could be a possibility. I'm not saying that any of these guys are flipping or anything like that. I'm just saying that these are obviously in-state guys that are committed elsewhere that maybe he may go back on. But as far as the four that committed today, knew pretty knew 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 for a while that there was a very good possibility they would flip. Now there is a Judd Hall receiver that was committed to Memphis that announced today that he was reopening, and he announced that on Twitter, and about 30 minutes later or something like that, he announced that he had an offer from Arkansas. Coach Silverfield gave him an offer. He said he's going to announce his decision on signing day. So I tend to think that he's definitely one to keep an eye on.
Richard, if he keeps this up, can he get? It's a pretty bold prediction of having the best recruiting class in Arkansas. Is that even possible?
That's strong. That's
Yeah.
strong. Here's the deal: you got 17 commitments right now, 13 today before the four commitments today. I don't know if they're going to sign all of them. They could, but they also may have some guys in their back pocket that they recruited at other schools, and they're not necessarily committed to Memphis. That could be committed to other schools that they may be able to sway and get on board. Now, that is a strong statement. If it's one of the best recruiting classes in Arkansas history, that is extremely strong. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I was that definitely got my attention when he said that.
What kind of a recruiter was he known as coming up and then at Memphis?
Well, that's part of my column tomorrow. I mean, he was always in the top 3 or 4 during his time at Memphis as a head coach, as far as recruiting classes in the American Athletic Conference. So he was in some years they beat out the SMU when they were part of the conference. Obviously, SMU is with the ACC now. He's pretty much beat out Golish at South Florida every year. It's something I noticed, and also Summerall at Tulane. So, and he had the number 1 class in the conference last week. Obviously, I know that that's not the SEC, but you're recruiting against your peers, and your peers are really in that conference, not the SEC or Big Ten or anything like that. But he is recruited at a pretty high level for that conference. Can he do that the same way in the SEC? Only time will tell. But at the same time, if the resources, like you said, for NIL are there, that gives Arkansas a fighting chance. That's something that they didn't have necessarily in the last few years, and NIL has really exploded the last 2 to 3 years.
Well, and I know he has an eye for talent. You can see that with his Memphis roster and the number of guys that he has in the NFL. And you know this better than anybody. Just because you're a 5-star or 4-star doesn't mean you're going to the NFL. A lot of times these 2 stars, 3 stars, no stars develop and make their way to the NFL.
Well, it's kind of like Jason Peters. Bobby Allen was telling me, well, East Texas was always kind of been under recruited, and it probably still is to a certain extent. But he saw him play basketball. He played multiple sports besides football. Hardly ever saw the weight room, but he saw what a special athlete he was without spending time in the weight room. And then a lot of times you can project somebody like him and go, good gosh, if this guy's this athletic at this weight and hardly sees the weight room because he's a multiple sport athlete, you can obviously project and think, hey, this guy is somebody we definitely want on the team. And then there's some other guys that are maybe, that weren't as physically gifted as Jason Peters. He's just one of a kind, let's face it. But other guys that are multiple sport athletes that don't see the weight room very much and that are kind of raw, you may take a chance on them and then, it pay off. So I think he does have an eye for talent. And that I think coaching at a place like Memphis makes you look at guys like that on a consistent basis, and he'll continue to do that at Arkansas. But he should be able to recruit, better athletes. Let's face it, at Arkansas versus Memphis.
Richard, I know how busy today's been. I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on today, and I know you got your phone next to you just in case the 5th flips.
Yeah, I got it right here with me.
No flipping during the last 18 minutes?
Let's see. Not that I know of. Got a few
no breaking news.
DMs, got a text, so we'll see what happens.
We'll let you get back to it. Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
All right, buddy. We'll see you, Wes.
See you. Richard Davenport joining us, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, WholeHogSports.com. Let's go and I'll read a couple of y'all's comments before we get out of here. Or not get out of here. We're going to introduce the More Sports Team of the Week. Hollywood says, love the show. Thank you, Hollywood. I appreciate you watching the show on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Rick says, not going to lie, coaches hit the ground running and had impressive results. Yeah, that's kind of what we talked about last night. It wasn't a hire that got the fan base excited. I mean, last night, if you watched the comments, it was not good. And people were not excited. They weren't happy with the hire, and they certainly weren't happy with Hunter Yurachek. But I said that the only thing that changes is you got to win the press conference, and then you got to go out and win recruiting day. And lo and behold, he comes out in the first day, and I mean, being on the bus and hearing the phone calls, the callers, the texters, it slowly, and not everybody, and I know there's still some out there that aren't impressed, but it is swaying some people and changing that public opinion a little bit so that it's not just awful like it was last night. It's a little better today. That's all he's got to do. He's just got a little bit of every day. Let's see here. We read that one. We read this one to Richard. Here's one. Let's see who this is from. Ricky. If a new coach wants to flip the narrative with fans and flipping all these in-state kids, it's a great way to do it. You're exactly right. Bart writes in. Bart says he is definitely making a good early impression. I don't know what else he could have done today. Like I heard one of his interviews on the radio. Good. I mean, after hearing him talk, I feel like he'll go win the press conference, do what he needs to do, get a good signing class, and then hit the portal and get a good portal class. And then just what's going to matter next fall? Win. Just go win. Next comment. Another 4 stars committed. Yeah, that's the 4th one of today. We just added that name to the list. And out of Little Rock Central, big defensive tackle. I actually got to watch him play in person a couple of times. And look, Anthony Kennedy Jr. has got that frame. He looks like an SEC player. And that's what you got to have, the frame. Then get them to work, coach them up, make them better. And maybe – I'm not saying next year as a freshman, but maybe in 2-3 years, he's a contributor. Roger says, great to see you, Wes. Thanks for being a great sports reporter. Thank you, Roger. That's very kind of you to say that. Another one on YouTube. So how do we go from Hunter Yurchek's statement at the Little Rock Touchdown Club that we are not in position to compete to getting 4 flips in one day? We kind of touched on that. Resources. That's what's changed. Hunter Yurchek got with the donors, had several meetings, got a commitment to go out, and I know they were trying to get a big home run splash hire. They got turned down. It's as simple as that. So they went next, whatever on their pecking order, wherever he was on the list, and got Ryan Silverfield. But it didn't stop the money that the commitment from the donors that they got so that they can improve the recruiting budget, the NIL budget, the assistant coach's salary pool, the head coach's salary pool. So they got that commitment from the donors, and now that's why you're seeing 4 flips in one day. They've got some money to go out and compete with these other schools that were taking these in-state players away. Steve says, making great start. It is. That's a very good start. Brent says, heard that one of the recruits said he knew Silverfield was coming for 4 weeks, and Davenport says today was planned. So was this a done deal long before Sunday? No, I do not believe so. I think Richard was saying that some of these guys were already, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I took it to mean that some of these guys were coming to Arkansas if they approved of the new head coach. I also do not believe that Silverfield was telling recruits for 4 weeks. Because we would have heard. You think a high school kid can keep his mouth shut for 4 weeks that he knows something that nobody else knows? No, that would have leaked out. I mean, parents would have talked. I mean, that would have just gotten out. We would have known. And so I do not believe that there was a kid that knew for 4 weeks Ryan Silverfield was coming here. Now, do I think maybe Ryan Silverfield thought for a couple weeks that he had a very good chance or a chance at this job? Yeah, I do. I firmly believe he knew he was in the running and was one of the candidates that they were going to offer if things went his way. Kerry says, got to sign in-state athletes every year. I agree with that, especially the best. Don't want them going out of state and going to other programs. That's happened too many times in the past. Heck, Louisiana, LSU's left tackle was from Arkansas. Could have used him. Greg says, oh, boy, he gets Memphis recruits to flip. Loser. Actually, only got one Memphis recruit. And no, he hasn't officially flipped. People are just reading into it that he decommitted and now has an offer from Arkansas that he will come here. So actually, he hasn't had any Memphis recruits flip. Steve says, what about an OC and DC? We haven't heard anything about that yet so far. Patrick says, Woo Pig Suey, let's go Hogs. Here's another one. No word on an OC or a DC. That'll be coming, Mike. That's soon to come. Patrick says Hog Nation is rising from the ashes. There we go, getting some positivity back, getting a little better feel today than we did last night. The dude's ceiling work is wild. I don't know what dude you're talking about, Mr. Bloodline 488. That dude's ceiling work is wild. As a printer, as a painter, I can confirm craziness on that ceiling. Man, you guys are losing me. Painter. Oh, okay. Good stuff. Let's see here. Y'all are still going. I thought we were at the bottom. All right. Boss, good stuff. And Fire Hunter, can't get your checking. Let's go. Look, Silverfield doing well, helping his image, helping people feel a little bit better about the hire. It's not helping Hunter Yurchek at all. There's not. And he's taking a beating because of the press conference. I don't care when the press conference is. Really, I don't. It can be Thursday, Wednesday, today. It didn't matter to me. The number one thing that mattered, he needed to hit the road and get recruiting. Look, a press conference would take an hour, 2 hours out of his day, but I'm not making a big deal out of it. Others are making a big deal out of it and said the press conference should have been today, but yet Hunter Yurchek is in Dallas for the college football playoff meeting, and then tomorrow night they'll release the new rankings. He has to do the media, and then back and see Wednesday. Coach is going to be introduced at Bud Walton Arena during the game when Arkansas plays Louisville, and then Thursday will be the press conference and meet the fans. So I don't care. I don't care. But if y'all want to make a big deal out of it and blame Hunter for it, sign me up. Cody says none of these kids were committed to Memphis. Yeah, you're exactly right. Any idea on the timeline? There was smoke that recruits knew for weeks. Getting 4 flips on the first day seems like they were going on in the shadows, makes the school shake. I do not believe that at all. I do not believe that this has been in the works for 4 weeks. No, I think they've been talking to him for weeks, and he had interviews and felt good about the situation, but they were definitely on other coaches and had other coaches turn them down. So, no, that's a conspiracy that I'm not buying, and I'm not. It just doesn't hold water to me. Since 1992, no one has come in like that and flipped recruits that way. Petrino did, didn't he? Petrino got Joe Adams to flip. I don't think the Warren guys he got them recommitted. But no, that's a splash. It's a mistake. It shows where Arkansas was to not be able to get these guys. They obviously wanted to come here. They just wanted to be compensated fairly to what the other schools were offering. I don't know if they matched them, they were in the ballpark, or if they even pay more. I don't know. But if somebody is offering you $400,000 and Arkansas is offering you $50,000 and it's your kid, well, I know what I'm telling my kid. You take the money. Invest it, take care of it, and think of it over 4 years. That's 4 times 400, $1.6 million. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you take that money. And now if Arkansas can come in, and I'm not saying that's what each one of these kids was getting, but I've heard some different amounts. Now Arkansas is in the ballpark. They wanted to come to Arkansas. Now they're coming to Arkansas. Cody says they were committed to OU, Missouri, and Miami, respectively. Well, Ja'Cory Smith was committed at one time to Oklahoma, decommitted. Hodges was committed to Missouri, and Kennedy was committed to Miami, but decommitted. So, I mean, impressive offer list, no doubt about it. And the Danny Beal was committed to Oklahoma State. When they changed coaches, he decommitted. If Silverfield is able to flip Kane Archer, the whole state will get behind him overnight. Kane is a very popular recruit. And my gut tells me once they sit down and talk, Kane Archer's coming to Arkansas. That's my gut. Here's a good question from Mike. When will we hear about retaining any existing roster players? I don't know. Well, those players will put out a tweet. They'll say that, hey, I'm coming back to Arkansas, or I'm excited to come back to Arkansas next year. I'm excited to support, Coach Silverfield. I'll be back. You'll hear that. There's not going to be like an official announcement or anything. But yeah, it'd be great there's some players on this team, even though they were 2-9, I'd love for some of those guys to come back. AJ Jackson, love to have him come back. So, I mean, you can go out through it. There's some offensive linemen, Cade Kittler. Has another year of eligibility. Love to have him back at center for another year. That's a great place to start the offensive line. So, yeah, you sprinkle in some players that are eligible to come back. I would love to. That's a good foundation, a good place to start. Patrick says he's got a plan for us as a fan base. And, well, that plan was working today, and he executed that plan. Havoc. This is from Mark. Says, seems like our best teams were when we had a good core of in-state and Texas players. We seem to somewhat abandon these areas. No, I agree. Got to get the Arkansas kids on board. Pryor says, what's up, Pryor? Any idea when current player meetings will happen to determine retention? Probably after signing day and before they leave for Christmas break. I would say he will have individual meetings with these players. I mean, first things first, he's on the road recruiting today. Signing day is Wednesday. That it's a short window. You come back, meet with the returning players, and see who you can convince to stay and not enter the portal. A couple more, and we'll get to our player of the week. Offensive coordinator Bobby Petrino, defensive coordinator DJ Duncan from Pastor Bill. I'll take DJ. I mean, I'll take Bobby Petrino, yes, but I mean, Silverfield runs his offense. He knows his offense. It's not the Bobby Petrino offense. I think it's oil and water won't mix. DJ Durkin, I think anybody would take him as the defensive coordinator, right? Ricky likes the fact that Silverfield is bringing in his own GM to handle NIL. We were definitely behind everyone else and how that was operating. Yeah, thank you for the comment. One more. All right. I hope they ask the hard questions during the press conference. Well, what kind of hard questions are you talking about, Love Swine? I want to know how much of a commitment they have for NIL, how much of an improvement they have. I mean, there's the fear, and I don't know this. We were talking about this at the radio station. Hopefully this is the increased resources that we see in a bigger NIL budget that we're seeing right now. And he's able to go get high school kids and have money left over for the portal. I don't want this to be a flip to where, Sam Pittman made the choice. We're not going to pay high school kids as much as the portal kids, because the portal kids, they're going to be needed to play right away. So you built your team around the portal and paying those guys, not the high school kids. Well, I'm hoping it's not a situation, and I don't believe it is. I'm hoping it's not a situation where Silverfield's, well, I'm taking this money, I'm putting it all into high school kids. Portal comes around, you don't have any money for the portal. I'm believing, and it better be both. Use some money for high school kids, use some money for the portal, and not just an either or. It's got to be both. If you're going to be successful, especially in year one, with graduating so many seniors, and we know guys are going to leave, they're going to hit the portal. Well, you're going to have to replace them in the portal. So you're going to have some money there. You got to have both to be successful. Is that it? Okay. Good time for me to tell you real quick about Gwatney Buick GMC. Big reason why I'm able to do this show. They're a big sponsor of mine, a big fan of the show. And I hope you'll be a fan of theirs and a supporter of theirs. They make this happen. So let's turn and support them also. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road, North Little Rock. You can call them at 945-4444. GwatneyBuickGMC.com is their website. Just finished up with Black Friday, huge Black Friday sale. And now they're getting ready for Christmas. You know what? New vehicle for Christmas or just the end of the year. Got to spend some money, tax write-off. They've got you covered. They'll take care of you. Gwatney Buick GMC. Check out the website. See all the deals that they have going right now. Also, you can see the inventory, what they have out there for you. It's easy to find. They're easy to deal with. They've been doing this for a long time. and they've been selling a lot of Buicks and GMCs for a long time. So if you're in the market, go check them out. 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock, right next to Sam's Club. Easy to find, easy to get to. Big fan of theirs. They're a fan of ours. Check them out at Gwatney Buick and GMC. Now, let me be totally upfront with you and honest. The More Sports Team of the Week, we had to do this interview a little earlier today. And unfortunately, when we taped this interview, I didn't know about a couple of his kids flipping to Arkansas. So when you're watching this, I don't want you to think, hey, dummy, ask him about the two kids that flipped. Unfortunately, we taped it earlier this morning. We recorded it earlier this morning so that he could join me and talk a little bit about their huge win on Friday night. So without any further ado, let's check out this week's Team of the Week.
The Bryant Hornets are the More Sports Team of the Week. Quad Sanders, their head coach, joins us now. Incredible game Friday night. I had so many people, Coach, just stopping me, talking to me. Were you watching that Bryant game? Did you see the Bryant game? Man, it was entertaining for fans. I don't know about you, but it was entertaining for us.
Yeah, I mean, I bet it was entertaining if you just had to watch it and go to sleep afterwards. Man, for me, I don't even know. I don't even know if I got up or down during the game because you just didn't know what was going to happen, man. It was crazy.
Two really good teams. I mean, it boils down to it. A quality football game. You know, it's one of those you watch. You're like, man, I hate somebody had to lose, but this is competition. It's sports. There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. But it was a fun team. What do you think about Rogers and that Jeff Regan?
Man, phenomenal. He's got to be. I'm not from Arkansas, but I understand he's probably in Arkansas history a top 10 player in Arkansas history. We're just talking about football. We ain't talking about where nobody went to school at. I know D-Mac and all that, you know, and Hillis. I mean, they all play for the Razorbacks. It is what it is. But you can't tell me what he's done in a 3-year span at Rogers can be matched at the 7A level. Like, he didn't do this in 3A or 2A or – like, he did this against all of the best every year. You know, it's phenomenal, man. I ain't ever seen anything like it. He's the most dangerous player I've ever coached against. I ain't talking about whatever you want to talk about. The most dangerous guy, he can do it. He can do it. I mean, I remember him as a sophomore. We were beating him 35-3. And then they put him at quarterback. So I guess you can say we were responsible for finding that monster, and I hate we ever did. Hey, the end of the game ended up being 50-something to 38. So they scored 35 that fast. Like, he's different now. And that was a sophomore him. So he's different.
Well, I know he's being recruited by Air Force and committed to Air Force. They've got a well of a player unless something happens. But, man, that guy is fun to watch at the high school level. And I got to think he does something at the college level. That's how talented he is.
No question. What he does correlates. It's football. He plays football. It's not like we ain't drawing up plays in the dirt for him to sneak and get open or hide him. Like, no. Put the ball in his hands, and he's hard to beat.
All right, let's talk about your team. You're down 14 with, what was it, 2 minutes and 50 seconds? Is that what it was? Something like that?
Yeah, I think it was 250. I ain't going to forget. It's 250, 251, 250. Down 14. Here we go.
No panic.
4-minute drill. 4-minute drill. I didn't even say it. I didn't mention it, but I think it just kind of clicked in the kid's head. 4-minute drill. Well, 2 minute on offense, 4 minute on defense. They pick up a first down, they win the game. Either way you want to spin it.
Was it truly the entire offense stepping up during this time, or was there one or a couple of guys you can point out that really raised their game?
No, man, if you go back and look, everybody made a play. Whether that was a block, whether it was like – I'm talking about everybody made a play. Obviously, the O-line had to protect. I mean, they got – Lindsey is like that. That's a dude. That's a dude. He showed up on every film he's played in. Like, I mean, he's probably the best athlete in the state. I mean, you're talking offense and defense. And so, but they blocked him at the end of the game. That is huge. So everybody really did step up and make plays. You know, we didn't have any drops. I don't even know if – I mean, maybe had one incomplete. I don't even know if we had an incomplete pass in the last, 250. Maybe we did, but they executed well. No penalties. It was like clockwork. It was what we practiced. We practiced tempo. We practiced 2-minute drill. We practiced 4-minute drill. It was like clockwork. and without having to mention it, because we had guys that step up as leaders. Man, I just hope that was a turning point for us. I know it's late in the season talking about a turning point, but sometimes stuff just got to click, and we'll know Friday if it clicked or not. But you just hope it clicks.
What was the sense on the sideline? What was the feel?
Crazy, man. I don't think they ever got up or down. I don't think the kids ever got up and down. You notice you can start noticing stuff. You start noticing stuff back and forth, with kids. You'll hear some mumbling. You'll hear somebody with an attitude, or I think the only attitudes we had were the two brothers, the Nelson brothers. I think they got mad at each other because neither one of them made a play or something like that on that last touchdown. But that's what brothers do, because them two guys hold themselves to so higher standard. If they don't make a play, they just get mad at each other. I think one don't want to let the other down. But literally, seriously, those were the only attitudes I saw, which that's all love. Everybody else, man, guys that I didn't know were capable of being leaders stepped up, and they were saying things, and I'm like, okay. It's 2 minutes and 50. Ain't nothing I can say. There's nothing I can say.
So you get the score. Now you got to get the ball back, though, and your defense responds.
Yeah. So, actually, it was a little bit different. Like, they scored, and then the offensive guys immediately ran over and said, onside kick it, onside kick it, onside kick it. And so we onside kicked it. And we thought we had it, but we touched it early. And the offensive guys like, okay, defense, just get the ball back. And, man, I'm telling you, I literally said nothing. They did everything. They said everything. They were telling me what they wanted to do. And just listen. Just listen. So, man, they knew something I didn't know. And all I had to do was make sure I didn't screw up them timeouts. And I went full focus on them timeouts. So,
all right, 4th down. Were y'all prepared for the fake punt?
Yeah, we talked about it. We talked about the only fake they should be able to do with the pressure we were going to send, because we knew we were going to have to go for the block. With the game being on the line, you can't play it safe. Ball midfield, maybe they go for it, maybe they don't. And I think they knew we were going to come block it. That's why they called timeout, and it just gave us time to reset. So we had a guy in the middle. He was back a little too far, but he was there. Had it been a good ball, it would have been another moment where it's like, hold your breath. Did he get it? Did he not get it? Did he catch it? Did he not catch it? It just worked out for us that he threw it in the ground for whatever reason. And I'll say this about Coach, and I know he's been getting a hard time. You don't know what you're doing in that situation. If you get that, you win the game.
Over.
The game is done. You're going to state. Like, it's the best call in history. If Andy Reid makes that call and they get it, he's the greatest coach in NFL history, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is, you punt the ball. I mean, we got a dangerous return guy. They're saying you shouldn't have punted. You should have went for it. If he punts it and we block it, well, why didn't you just hurry up and kick it? People are always going to question what a coach does. But in that situation, you can tell they were trying to win the game. The first thing they did in overtime, go for 2.
Yeah.
I ain't that tough. I wouldn't. Hey, that's tough, man. That's tough, So I do understand every call he made, and I never question it. We were just fortunate. Somebody had to lose. We were just fortunate.
How about overtime? Double overtime.
Whew. I mean, when we said overtime, I looked. I said, what's the overtime rules in high schools again? Because I've never been in an overtime game in high school. Wow. So I'm like, what's the overtime rules again? I'm thinking, college, and it was like, he said, 4 plays from the 10. And I'm thinking to myself, 10 yards? Jeff Reagan? Lindsey? 10 yards? All right. Let's see. We'll let them go first and see what we got to do. And that worked out because they ended up, I think he punched it in on 3rd and 5, which that was going to be another decision time, and that's what he just made plays. Reagan made plays right at decision time all night, whether it be 4th down or 3rd down. That 3rd and 5, if we get a stop, they probably kick a field goal to be safe, or they may go for it, But if you go for it, that's pretty much game if we can make a kick, or score. So we was just hoping to get them in that situation, and he scored. And then he scored again on the 2-point play. So, let's go play offense. And then we had to score. And I made the decision to go for 1 just because at some point you got to play defense. At some point you got to play defense. That's just me believing in our guys and my coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. Offense did what they were supposed to do, and I just put it in the hands of the defense and the defensive coordinator, and they held it down. They held it down. I'm telling you, all I was trying to do is not mess it up. Like the kid's done so much, I don't want to be the hero. Hey, they say kick it, coach. All right, I'm kicking it. I don't want to be the hero. Let them win the game. Defense wanted to win the game, and they did.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, your offense stepped up, scored twice in the last 250. Your defense got the 3 and out that you needed. Special teams came up big, getting the fake punt. And then in overtime, defense gets the final stop. Offense scored, twice in overtime when they had to. Got the 2-point conversion all 3 phases of your game was clicking, and that's what it took to win.
Yes. And we knew that going into the game that to beat that team, we were going to have to win all 3 phases of the game. We won them late, but at the end of the day, we won them. And if you don't win one of those phases of the game, it probably goes the other way. At any point, you could lose. We could have lost special teams on that one fake punt. We could have lost special teams on that one fake punt, and that's your ball game. Because up until that point, it had been even. They made our extra points. We made our extra points. We made the 2-point conversion. They made the 2-point conversion. It just up until that point, though. The special teams were even, and that play, if they punted in the rows, then it's still even. Unless we score. It is what it is. But even game. But we knew it. We knew it would be like that, and we didn't know it was going to be double overtime under 3 minutes. But we knew it was going to be a great game.
You feel the same way about this 7A championship game against Bentonville?
Yeah, that's without question. That is without question. Of course, there's nobody. We don't have Jeff Reagan, and they don't have Jeff Reagan. So I bet they're looking like I'm glad because they had a tough game early in the year with him. And I'm they're saying, well, he ain't Jeff. They ain't got Jeff, and I'm saying they ain't got Jeff. But what they do have is a really, really, really good team. They have a really, really good team. And so it's always going to be an uphill battle when you're facing a really, really good team and a really good coaching staff.
Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck this week. We'll see you Friday night at War Memorial Stadium.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Quad Sanders joining us, head coach of the Bryant Hornets. They'll be taking on Bentonville Friday night, 6:30. Of course, all the games are on Arkansas PBS Sports and on 103.7 The Buzz. So can't make it out to the stadium. Hope you can. Hope you can watch us on Arkansas PBS Sports or listen to us on 103.7 The Buzz. Really appreciate everybody tonight. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube. Big thanks to Gwatney Buick GMC for being a part of this show and making this show happen. Go see our friends at Gwatney Buick GMC when you're in the market for a new car, truck, or SUV. That's going to do it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back here tomorrow night with more sports.
All Arkansas, all sports. It's more sports.